My armor is like tenfold shields. My teeth are like swords. My claws spears. The shock of my tail is a thunderbolt. My wings a hurricane. And my breath, death. Hello, I'm very proud to show you Smaug the Terrible from Weta Collectibles. This is a really amazing statue, and I'm really excited to show it off. But let's start with the packaging first. So Smaug is a huge statue, and it comes in an enormous box. And out you can see there's a normal sized Pepsi can beside it. So it's just an enormous box. It's about 40 pounds with the statue in it. So if you're having it shipped and it's just going to be mom there to receive it, you might want to get her some help. The statue is bolted to a wooden base, and you have to take it out. It includes a wrench, and it's covered in saran wrap and styrofoam, so it's a pretty big unpacking job. You're probably going to want 2 people to do it. It is possible to do it alone, but it's very difficult, and you don't want to risk damaging this beautiful statue. The side of the box has a little bit of text about Smaug and Weta itself, which you can read. On the other side, more promo shots. These are all on Weta's website if you want to see high quality versions of them. And on the back, some pictures of other products Weta makes. Here you can see their other Smaug statue, Smaug, King Out of the Mountain. This is a smaller and much cheaper statue. If the big guy here is too big or expensive for you, this one is $125. From the pictures I've seen, it's really nice. So it's a good alternative to this one. Now, on to Smaug himself. As I said, it's a pretty big statue. As you can see by the Pepsi can there for scale. I'll start by talking about his pose. Now, of course, Smaug is a huge dragon. He's bigger than 2 jumbo jets side by side with his wings fully opened, which causes a problem for the people making Smaug statues. They have to try to capture the dragon without making it as big as your dining room table. And what Weta has done is they've kind of curled Smaug up to show up as much of him as possible without having him take up too much room. And I think they've done a really, really good job of that. As you can see, you get a good look at his entire body. Obviously, this is meant to be the scene where he's talking to Bilbo and has still somewhat friendly. He's not outright attacking. You can see the wings have the little folds in them, which give a nice sense of movement for them. You can see that when he extends them, these would actually pop out and they'd be quite a bit bigger. So you get that sense of scale there. With his tail, you can just feel that he's bringing it around, like it's gonna slide right through here and out and around. And you get, that his head is slithering around and taunting Bilbo. I think the pose that they've chosen is really, really good for it. See underneath, you can see his legs. A lot of really nice detail here in Smaug. And I think they've shown off as much of him as they could while still keeping him compact enough to not dominate your entire living room. Now, if I had any complaints about his pose, I'd say these are more just personal preferences. I would like it if his head were tilted downwards a little bit more, like he was actually looking at Bilbo. And his little frill section here, it moves up and down with his expression in the film. I would like it to be a little bit more up. This is down more like he's in a taunting mood, not so much angry. And the other thing is his tail here, I would have liked if it was lifted up at this point here, just so we can better see the spike on it, and it would be more of more threatening. But like I said, that is just personal preferences. I think overall they did a really, really good job on picking an appropriate pose. They could have had him standing more up, like when he reveals himself, but it would have been a taller statue. But then that would have pushed his wings back, and they would have been more hidden. And since the wings are such a big part of him, I like that they went with this pose instead. So moving on to the likeness. It's a bit of a hard category to talk about since we never really get a good look at Smaug in the film in broad daylight. He's always in darkness or, fire reflected off of gold. But I think without going back and examining, is every single scale in the right place, this looks exactly the way I remember Smaug looking in the film. As you can see, he's got scars all on him. He has the 2 broken horns at the top. These are supposed to be broken. Rolled battle damage. No, I think he's supposed to be near invincible, so I guess maybe when dragons are younger they are more vulnerable. If you look right down there on his chest, right in there, you can see there's the loose scale. It will ultimately be his undoing. The entire dragon has this scaly texture to it, and it's different in different places. Like if you look at his neck area here, which is heavily scarred, you can see it's almost like a snake. But on his chest, it's rougher, a little bit smoother on the wings, more of a kind of leather look to them. And then the hard armored scales. And it gets thinner on the wings as you go along. Of course, thicker down around this area here. I think his sculpt is absolutely fantastic. Of course, this is made by Weta, the people who made Smaug in the film, so of course they would have the best reference materials. There was some controversy over the first batch or two of this statue. The colors weren't quite right. They were pretty bland, and they've corrected that since then. This looks good to me. Like I said, it's hard to tell exactly what his color was in the film because of the lighting conditions and everything. The camera isn't quite picking it up as well as I would like it to. I will say that if you look at the pictures on the Weta website, the color of red that he is in that, the statue itself is slightly less vibrant than that, but still very, very close. I think if I were to take a picture of this statue that I have here and use my phone's enhance option on the picture, it would make the colors more vibrant and it would look exactly like that. So the coloring is really, really good. I'm sorry for those who got the first batch, who got the disappointing paint apps. But if that put you off from ordering it, don't. They fixed it, and it's much improved. Now, one interesting element of his paint that I never noticed in the film, but I'm assuming it's accurate, is that this area here is actually not black. It's kind of a dark metallic blue, and it catches the light at certain angles and gives a nice reflective quality, which I really like. It adds a sense of depth to the paint job that you wouldn't expect to be there I think in a lot of the pictures it just looks the flat black. So that was quite a nice surprise, actually. I like that. The areas on the wings here, they are more of a flat black. Excuse me. And not the blue. I do think the blending of the different colors on the wings is really well done. You don't really see any kind of line or anything. The underside, you can see, even though it's difficult to see all the little details in there, they didn't skimp on it. Still well painted all around. Now, I've seen some complaints about the gold hoard. People are saying that there should be more different treasures in here. Now, I read something on one of the forums from one of the people at Weta. He said they had a real hard time with this gold pile because Smaug is so huge. Every single gold coin would be about the size of a grain of sand. So that was really hard for them to kind of come to terms with. So what they did is they actually scaled up the size of the coins. So you see these coins that are sculpted into his hands here. They would be absolutely massive in real life. They would be the size of dinner plates, if not bigger. But you don't think about that, and you probably wouldn't have noticed it if I hadn't pointed it out to you. And your mind makes the connection that it's coins. So there are little different bits of treasure mixed in here and there. You can see a lot in there. But the reason they haven't done the huge variety of treasure is likely because of the scale issues. And I do like that they've gone and they've added in those little coins on him, that he's not completely clean. They're only on his hand areas there. There's none embedded into his chest or anything like there is in the book or the film. And the treasure hoard itself is done in two different tones. There's kind of a flatter gold color, and then there's a brassier, shinier metallic gold covering on top of everything that reflects the lights. That is a little bit splotchy for my taste, but it's not a huge deal. It's something that you'll probably notice, but your eye is drawn to Smaug anyway, so I'm not going to knock it too much for that. One other great thing about this statue is it makes you want to talk like Benedict Cumberbatch more than you already do. Oakenshield has weighed the value of your life and found it worth nothing. So that's a big plus. So Smaug is a limited edition of 2,000, which is a pretty high edition size, but that's a good thing. It gives everybody a chance to get them. It's not something that'll sell out quickly. Although this latest batch, which is arrived at the end of June, a lot of people were getting numbers in the 800s. So he is selling well. The statue itself retails for $749. And of course you get $75 in Weta dollars back from that, which effectively drops the price to $675. And I think that's an excellent price for the statue, given that it's all one piece. There's no ugly seams in it. The sculpt is excellent. The paintwork is excellent. It's coming from Weta. The size is about as big as you're ever going to get in a Smaug. I think that's a very fair price. If you look at some of the prices of Sideshow's items, like the new Spider-Man premium format figure that they have, or the Godzilla maquette, which isn't one solid piece, and has a very poor paint job, inaccurate details, and an overall soft-looking sculpt in general. That's $800, so it's significantly more than this. And the thing is, this isn't like a superhero where you're going to be getting, a new version every year. There's only going to be so many Smaugs on the market. There's really only this one and the one I showed you on the back of the box. the King of the Mountain statue for high-end collectibles. So I honestly don't think you're going to get a better Smaug statue than this for, if ever, at least a very long time. And I could see this becoming a grail piece once it sells out. I think, for me, if you were going to have one statue to represent The Hobbit, whether that be the book or the film, this is it. The scene where Bilbo confronts Smaug is definitely the most iconic and I think memorable scene in the book and the film. And this is a great representation of that. So definitely, if you're interested in it, this is one that's worth saving up for. You were concerned about quality problems after the first couple of batches. Don't be. They've been fixed. But this is an absolutely epic piece for your Middle-earth collection. I think even if you aren't a Middle-earth fan, you just think dragons are cool, this is a cool looking dragon. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.